Okay, now it's recording. Alright, so now I'm gonna do a prep show. Gonna do just one video. Um, hoping to open up some eyes. This video is going to be kind of offensive. I'm gonna give you guys 99.9. Unless this video actually recorded the part where I said I'm gonna give you the whole 1000. If that's the case, I will teeter on the end of both. How about that? Let's make it a fair thing here. Alright, so we're gonna talk about my generation versus my 18-year-old nephew's generation. This is not so much as a stab to his generation, but as a reflection of the differences between our moral compasses. Alright? I grew up watching family members do drugs. I've grown up watching friends and other family members do drugs. I've watched drugs turn people from really good people into monsters. Alright? I've watched drugs take away people's parents. And I sit back and I often ask myself, because those same drugs I often find their children doing. Alright? Which is why I'm making the video. I more often than not find their children doing. And I don't pass judgment on anyone. But I do find myself asking the question, why would you do the one thing that literally took your parent out of your life? Not like permanently, but out of the best years of your life. And other people that I've watched do drugs, I've saved two people who had OD'd. Alright? The first one was an accident. The second one was pretty much an accident, but it happened in the same place, just a different person. I understand that sometimes you have to have something to get you over the edge. I understand that you have to have that oomph. And I tell people all the time, find something else. Find something else. We all have problems. All of us. I suffer from depression. I'm in a good spot. But I'm very open with you guys. You know, the thing is that this is my escape. Comic books, toys. They were my escape. Yeah, I know you're thinking, you're a 50-year-old man. Why the fuck do you have toys? Because sometimes these were the only friends that I had in life. Bazooka, Creature from Voltron, bow and arrow that I just dropped, crossbow. You know, sometimes those are all you have. They don't betray you. They don't stab you in the back. And you can trust them. They're not going to go and tell anybody your secrets, like your crush. They're not going to stab you in the back. They're not going to abandon you unless you lose them. Same thing with comic books. You can live 20 different lifetimes in one book. 20 different lives. Someone in one of these books has something that you can relate to. Rather it be a male, rather it be a female, rather it be a hero, maybe it be a villain. Just some Joe Blow walking down the street that's going to become the victim, which is going to be saved by the hero. Because, let's be real, a lot of us need saving and don't know it. And then some of us need saving, but we know that no one's going to save us, so we have to save ourselves. In my case, I have to save myself. I will never understand how anybody who lost a parent, not through death, but like through illegal paraphernalia, which is legal now, would pick up the same shit and do the same shit. Like I said, I saved two people from ODing because they were doing heroin. I'm scared of needles, so we'll never have to worry about me doing drugs. At least not that kind. Doctors can barely get me to sit still for a fucking shot for them to draw blood, let alone giving me my COVID booster a couple of months ago and giving me my pneumonia shot a couple of months ago. As hell as it was, I knew I needed it, especially when the doctor had to tell me, you need to lose 10 pounds because you're overweight. You're 140 pounds and you need to stay at 130 at best. We don't want you over 135 pounds. because of my hip replacement. So I have to lose weight and I need to get started like immediately. I've been lazy. I've been stress eating and stuff. I'm in a good place, but that doesn't change the fact that we all have stress. Everybody has stress. Stress of losing stuff. Stress of, is my career ever going to take off? Believe me, I am stressing. I am 50 years old. It is make it or break it time. And I'm going to do both. I'm going to make it and I'm going to break it. But the thing is, my dad died in a car wreck in my car when I was 42. Wasn't expected. He did not try to unalive himself. We don't know what caused his death because he was an organ donor, so they couldn't give him an autopsy. At least that's what the hospital had told me. They retrieved his body. How much truth that is, I have no fucking idea. But I'm also not a person who will question the doctor because I'm a kung fu martial artist. I don't do doctors and shit. I don't like seeing my own damn blood, let alone seeing somebody else. I damn sure don't want to deal with anybody's excrements. Poop, pee, that kind of shit. I don't like changing diapers. I've done it almost all my life for my siblings and their kids. But I've never figured out how anybody could sit back, watch their parents do the shit, and then go and do it themselves. We had commercials when we were kids. McGruff the Crime Dog, Say No to Drugs. What the hell was the other one? We had This Is Your Brain on Drugs, with the egg, and this is what your family goes through with the girl in the frying pan just smashing the fuck out of shit. We had these things, Generation X, we took that shit serious. We literally, if you told us not to do something, do what I say, not what I do, every now and again, one of us might go against the grain. But we literally also knew that an ass whooping was going to follow. Alright? And by ass whoopings, these was a blessing. Alright? These not so much. And I can say that with my voice just because if the parental unit that did the ass whooping had whatever was in reach as their tool for the ass whooping, they used it. I never got beaten with a Tonka truck. I did get a spanking with a canoe. I don't know what the fuck I did, and no, it wasn't a giant canoe. But I did get a spanking with a canoe. It was a Lone Ranger canoe. Didn't have a Lone Ranger figure, though, so I don't even know how or why I had the fucking canoe, but I had a canoe. And, I can't remember what the fuck I did, but I did get an ass whooping with a canoe. We lived at 828 Hardy Drive, which is kind of funny that my mom was that fast because I left the canoe in the bathtub. I know I left the water out. I left the canoe in the bathtub. I had to go past my mom's room to get to my room. By the time I got across the threshold of my room, my ass was getting spanked all the way to the bed with the canoe and the fifth degree, which is the only ass whooping that my mom acknowledges that she gave us. Now, she never beat my ass with my Tonka truck. I still have both. I have all three of my Tonkas. And, be in the house by the time that porch light comes on. Before my mom worked night shifts, or evening shifts. She worked the day shift. So we went to work. We went to school. She went to work. Sometimes she went to work before, so she'd make us cream of wheat. So she had to teach us how to make cream of wheat. I burnt my curl, my Superman curl. I burnt that shit clean off one time because we had gas stoves in the projects. And usually it makes 3 clicks and the fire comes up. That bitch made 6 clicks and the fire shot up my face, singed my nostrils, and singed the hair off my. It never grew back. It never fucking grew back. It burned that shit clean off. Like it was a smooth burn because it went all the way back, right? I went to school, my hair was singed, and everybody could smell. I was like, what's that burning smell? And I started laughing. Like, oh, that's me. I had an accident this morning. And if I had said it was me, nobody would have noticed because there's like a clear, like, burnt line all the way back. And so I have to say this because Generation X, we knew that we didn't want to do the things that our parents do. We also knew that you only told us once. No, and don't call my whole name, and don't be sitting outside with your hands on your hips and tapping your feet. We knew that was an ass whooping. We straight knew that that was an ass whooping. Now here's the kicker: my neighbor could beat my ass, and the neighbor beside her, and the neighbor beside her, and the neighbor beside her. It just depends on what day and who saw what. Tell you a little story. Another reason why I stopped lying. I tried to cover up my eyeglasses being broke. Because back then, eyeglasses were made out of glass lenses and not plastic. And I wanted to be like all the other kids. I'm sliding on the ice and I fell. My glasses broke. I popped the lens back in. Thought everything was good. When I'm not sliding, the eyeglass lens falls out. Shatters into 1,000 pieces. My friend, his grandmother came up there and saw it. And I tried to fake it, and I was like, I lied and tried to say that the glass was just so clean that you couldn't see it. She could tell. She wasn't stupid. She was old, but she wasn't stupid because she could see the other glass was just fine and clean. But it wasn't so clean that it was invisible. So, I got 3 ass whoopings that day. I got a scolding before I went to school by her. And she said she's going to tell my mama. And my mom was at work. I don't know how she knew my mama number, but when I got home from school, I didn't see this ass whooping coming. My mama pulled up. I got an ass whooping. One of her brothers pulled up. I got an ass whooping. Another motherfucker pulled up. And I got an ass whooping. It was like motherfuckers and strangers was lining up to beat our ass. And we learned from this shit. And most of us turned out fairly decent human beings. Now, there are some of those people who just don't learn. And I get it. Some people some stupid you can't fix. A lot of stupid you can't fix, but there are some people that are just so stupid you can't fix them. Only Jesus can fix them. And they don't be listening to Jesus. They be listening to that devil on this shoulder instead of the angel on this shoulder. And they go off and they do dumb shit. Then they look in the mirror and be like, damn, man, why I do that shit? Why I do that shit? And they really ain't got nobody to blame but themselves. And you know, I'm not a saint by far, but I got ass whoopings. For little shit, I got ass whoopings. So I learned, you get enough fucking ass whoopings, you learn how we not doing that. That's not something we gonna do. You get enough ass whoopings. I got a beating for falling asleep in church by my grandma one time. After getting me a stern talking to outside the church for me falling asleep in church. It was like my sisters never got beatings, yo. I swear I never caught them getting beatings. But I got beatings. I mean, I got a lot of goddamn beatings. Maybe one or another sister got beatings, but a couple of them motherfuckers never got beatings, yo. They never got beatings. But me and a sister or two, we got beatings. We got our motherfucking asses handed to us. And we turned alright, But the thing was, man, when they took ass whoopings out the house, they fucked the generation under me. I'm a Generation X, so whoever's under Generation X, they got away with all kinds of shit. The next generation is getting away with other shit. And the generation in which my nephew is falling into, getting away with more shit. And I have to ask myself, because I know certain situations is different for everybody. But you don't have to be stupid regardless of your situation. You can fix yourself. You might not be able to fix somebody else, but you can fix yourself. And if you're losing things like your parents lose their freedom for doing the devil's lettuce, you don't have to do the devil's lettuce. But in my family, I got a couple of family members that, do the devil's lettuce. Their parents did the devil's lettuce. I have never smoked weed a day in my life. Ever. Been around a lot of people that do it, but it's not for me. I have threatened a few people who have done it. I say, look, I don't care if you do it, just don't blow the shit in my face. Smoke until your balls pop off, but respect my boundaries. I know you can't help when it goes in the air, but you can blow it in a way away from me. Now, if the wind shift, that's not their fault. And I know not to get mad. No. But when that motherfucker choking it and directly blowing it in your face, see, that's grounds for a dental assignment, which means I'm going to have to rearrange your teeth and your jaw, or I'm going to stop you from breathing because I don't have to beat you to kill you. But the thing is, it's like this generation that my nephew is in, they don't get it, man. And then, there's no consequences for this generation. I mean, there literally is no consequences. And that's part of the problem. You know, motherfuckers don't understand how consequences work. It's kind of hard to understand how consequences work if there are no fucking consequences. You know, and that's my main issue is that where the consequences at? Because a lot of shit that they do is just straight bullshit. And I'm like, how do y'all not understand what you're doing? You know, you can fix yourself. I mean, you can. But most people just do what everybody else do instead of doing what's right. Because doing what everybody else do ain't always the right thing for them. And I'm a strong believer in if you do the right thing now, you don't have to pay for that shit later. A lot of people don't get that concept. And there's only so many times you can tell somebody something before you have to say, all right, fuck it. Let them learn. They learn for themselves. You know? And I don't want to sound like I'm being brutish or evil or any of the shit that comes in between that. But the fact of the matter is, you have to learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't make them. And I don't know when this generation that my nephew falls in is going to learn. But I'm done trying to save people. I'm at the point now where I no longer give a fuck. If you do something stupid, you pay for it without me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time. I could go on, but I really want to watch the Adjustment Syndicate kick people's ass. Shout out to the Adjustment Syndicate, and may they keep pushing people in. Thank you guys very much. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing.